Good evening to you. Welcome to this special program brought to you by Government Communications and Information System with support from the Department of Justice and Constitutional Development. Nalibito ke Musutu Stone, and we will be together up until 7:05. Welcome to all the radio stations who are in partnership with us all over the country. We're talking all 9 provinces. Thank you so very much for tuning in as well to talk justice and live your rights. You can also share on 0800 142 446. Tonight, I'm going with producer Linda Mazibuko. Thank you so very much. He's also on the telephones as well as making sure that we sound good. You also can follow us on Facebook, the Department of Justice and Constitutional Development, as it is, as I'm saying it. That's the face page. And also on Twitter at DOJ_CD. And also, if you want to talk to us, you can use it mahala on 0800 142 446 if you're using your Telcom line. But otherwise, if you're using your cell phone, call in, leave your number, and we will definitely call you back, save you some airtime, and give you more value in terms of representing some of your ideas. Tonight, we are talking femicide. And when we're talking femicide, we're talking the types of femicide, how all genders can actually come on board and support action against gender-based violence, and also looking at types of violence, type of gender-based violence, different types. What can you do? How can you access support? How can you access help in case you're going through that yourself? So do talk to us, 0800 142 446. Now, just a quick message is that the Acting Director General of Government Communications, GCIS, Ms. Pumla Williams, is inviting everybody to the Gender-Based Violence Workshop, which is to take place on Friday, the 24th of August, 2018. It's starting at 1 o'clock up until 3:30 here at Serimosetso House in Pretoria. So if you are around Pretoria, or you know somebody who's around Pretoria who can benefit from this workshop, do let them know that during this month we are running various programs that actually deal with gender-based violence as one of the biggest scourge that is emerging in our country in South Africa. All right, without any further ado, let me just invite my guest tonight. Advocate Praise Kambula is with us, and as usual, thank you so very much for making your time out of your very busy schedule. And I know, as always, you always make sure that you come and share some insight with our listeners. Thank you so very much, and welcome, man.
Thank you.
All right. Let's just talk about femicide, break it down. It's an English word for many of the rural communities. Sometimes we coin words around issues, around realities that we have. And femicide is one of those. Somebody might mix it up with homicide. They might mix it with other sides. So let's just break it down a little bit. Before we get into the types and everything, let's just make sure that we are on the same page.
Femicide is simply the killing of a female person, irrespective of the age. So it could be a child,
yes,
could be even an infant, it could be a girl child, a woman.
yes.
So it is simply the killing of a female person. And in South Africa, you'll find that in other countries, when they define femicide, they will say that it is a killing of a female person by a man. But in South Africa, we are saying that it is a killing of a female person, irrespective of who is killing that female person. The reason for that is because we have a constitution that is gender neutral. So it recognizes the same-sex relationships. So you can find that a person who is in a same-sex relationship, that is a relationship of two ladies who are lesbians, the other one could actually kill the partner. And in South Africa, that is recognized as a femicide.
Yes. Thank you so much. Advocate Praise Kambula is the one who just alluded that point. If you have just joined us, that's the voice here. May Advocate Praise Kambula, who is the head for promotion of the rights of vulnerable groups. And tonight we are talking femicide, the killing of female persons by anybody. By anybody. So let's just make it clear. And I like Isintu Sageti, Advocate, where it is only in English that we have a description of a he and she. And in our African languages, umuntu nje. Umuntu wesifazana. And we don't even. So basically, that's where our roots is. That's where we need to be saying, like you're saying, our constitution is gender neutral. Yes. Just like our African languages, just like our African expressions. Yes. Now, let's get into some of the types of femicide. Getting into the situations, getting into the realities of some of the case studies that you, I'm sure you have received.
Yes. In South Africa, first I think that this is what I need probably to say to the listeners is that we have put together a country definition of femicide that is linked to the UN definition of femicide. But with ours, we have ensured that we cater for our constitution, which is the supreme law of our country. Then we have the domestic homicide. The domestic femicide, I can talk about first the intimate femicide, because people know about the intimate femicide, and because it is one of the types of femicide that are huge in our country. Intimate femicide, kukubulawa komuntu ongumama, umuntu athandana naye. So that could be it's people who are in an intimate relationship. And in South Africa, we break it down further to say that we also recognize the romantic relationships and also the sexual relationships. Sexual relationship, one night stand, or that relationship, you know what, as Tina akonto asizusebenza tu igama lika I love you, or who I love, as msebenzisi tulo magama. To imeko is just to deal with this situation of our sexual attraction. So we do have our legislation recognizes the sexual relationships. Romantic relationship, it is that one that it does not have to have sexual relations. It could be the communication of the SMSs, I love you, buying flowers and all that romantic kind of thing. So in South Africa, we recognize that should a person then that you have a romantic relationship with, or a perceived romantic relationship, then kill you, and being a female person, that you are being, the person who is killed is a female person. So in South Africa, that is classified as an intimate femicide.
That's right, yes.
Okay, so then you also have what we call the parricide. The parricide, then it is the killing of one's parent. And we have seen here just recently a certain case that was
Van Breden.
Yes, where he had killed his parents. So it's called parricide, and it's also one part of the domestic homicides. Then you also have what we call the matricide. The matricide is the killing of one's mother. Is when you decide that, you know what, I want to get rid of my mother for whatever reason. And in South Africa, we have seen a lot of of people who kill their mothers because of the advices that they get from the sangomas, that if you can give me the blood of your mother or the breast of your mother or the private part of your mother, then you're gonna be rich tomorrow. So we have a number of matricide in South Africa because of that. And then you also have then the particide. I'm just classifying this under the domestic homicide, but it's not femicide, the particide, because it's the killing of one's father. And then you also have the infanticide, the female infanticide, which is also classified as a femicide. Is when you kill then your child, but for it to be classified as an infanticide, you must kill your child before your child. It actually covers children. I mean the baby that is 1 year old. So if your baby is 1 year plus 1 day, then it's not the infanticide. And we do have a lot of those in South Africa because women will be killing their children because of the economic constraints, because of the rejection by the fathers of their children, and other reasons will be that I'm not ready to be a parent. So we're getting a lot of those. So when all of those, then we are classifying them as the domestic homicide types that we have in South Africa. But I have not yet gone into the types of the femicide. Because we do have the types of the femicide as well.
I like the way you're breaking it down and giving it attention pair, so that we are able, because this also, when I'm laleli, it also actually make it easier for you to identify the types of violence, because sometimes we as people we say hayi unjalo uyashaya umthetho wakhe, and not knowing that basically what the person is doing is wrong, irrespective of how justified they feel they are to actually raise a hand against a woman. So give us a call, 0800 142 446, and I would really love to hear a lot from many of the rural people, because in most cases, many of the cases, Advocate, they come from our cities, they come from our townships, but we never hear much about the stories that are happening in the rural areas, simply because maybe there is not yet the outreach of a legal representation within the rural fraternities, the rural constituencies, where we have mainly male-dominated leadership, traditional leadership, for instance, where in many cases you find that the killing of women, it just evaporates into thin air at some point. Now, for me, let's talk about the closeness of all these factors that they have one common thing. It means many people are killed by people they know. Exactly.
That is the challenge. And the challenge is that when you deal with, because if you talk about the intimate femicide, you find it in a domestic relationship. And domestic relationship, it means that then is two people who know each other. And that is one of the reasons then that make then the victims to take time or to even to struggle to get out of what we call the cycle of violence. They stay in that cycle of violence until they die, and there are a number of reasons that keep them there, why women do not leave abusive relationships. It is one, if I can mention just a few, it is the economic dependence. Umama uzawuthi if ndiyamshiya utata apha ngubani ozawundondla, ngubani ozawundla abantwana bam. So that it's usually one of the major reasons that make women to stay in abusive relationships. And you will find that omnye will be, it's because of the shame. It's because of shame. Will say that if I leave this relationship, then everybody will know as to what is happening between mna no tata, you know, because
I will be a failure.
Shame. How people are going to be looking at me, because if I leave him, then it means that then I'm going to live with a stigma of being a divorced woman. So we need to destigmatize domestic violence, because that is what is actually keeping our women in violent relationships until they die. And you find that it is denial, and denial, it is because of what is happening in the cycle of violence. Because the cycle of violence, it starts with we call it the stand of phase. That is where then it's like, oh, I'm walking on the eggshells, because I can see now that it's gonna get to the explosion phase. Explosion phase, that's where then the act of domestic violence actually occurs. I will make an example, like in terms of a physical abuse, where you know that yabona ke ngoku uzandibetha na ndiyayazi ke ngoku angaqalisa ngezi zinto yuba andibuza into ethile, why wenza into ethile and all that. So I know that now it's going to lead to an explosion phase. But what happens is that after the act of domestic violence has been perpetrated, that is ebetiwe, or it could be sexual abuse or whatever, then it moves the victim now to the next phase. And that phase again, it is the makeup phase. The makeup phase is your abuser will come and say that, I'm sorry Manyazi for having beaten you. They even kiss the bruises and all that, and say that, it is because of your fault, it's because of you, it's because you did not do this and all that. But will always take himself out of the equation in terms of in terms of fault, and places the blame of the victim. Did I not tell you that I don't want you to arrive at home at this time? Did I not tell you that you should not use this money and all that? You must not use, you must not buy this. Did I not tell you that I don't want this and that and rah, rah, rah? So placing the blame on the victim, that is the makeup phase. And then from the makeup phase, then moves to the next one, which is the honeymoon phase. You see, in the honeymoon phase, that's where they stay for. That's what is actually making the victims to stay, because the honeymoon phase is when the victim now, what made the victim to get into this relationship? It was this beautiful man, romantic man, and all that. So in the honeymoon phase, then she sees that person who is warm, welcoming, loving, buying flowers, buying this and all that, and you will be like, you know what, I think that maybe it is stress at work, maybe it is the issue of alcohol, maybe it is the issue of the anger, management.
Like women can be
and
so
all
understanding.
And come up with all these reasons to justify the explosion phase. And the explosion phase is where she was beaten, is where she was sexually abused, because there are many types of acts of domestic violence. So we deal with those. So the honeymoon phase then is gonna take her back and goes back and all that, and stay in that cycle of violence until she dies. So what we want to say now about Pula Pulibet is that you need to take responsibility. We can come up with many pieces of legislation, but the legislation will not come to your bedroom and save you. You need to begin to take an action by reporting. You can report to the family member. There are a number of interventions that you could do in order to get out, but it will not stop. Domestic violence will not stop until you take an action.
South Africa has been making headlines on these appalling figures of young women and girls who are violently killed at the hands of men, advocate. And one of the biggest highlights was the Oscar Pistorius case back in 2013. And that was just one little highlight. And we're having quite a number of cases that have been coming in. But now, at some point, maybe legally, we find that women also get discouraged, that they will go to a police station and the case doesn't go anywhere. they might be probably involved with a powerful man who is able to manipulate the systems here and there. And now, that's where I come in, where the department's responsibility in terms of supporting women who want to stand and not give up, in actually making sure that these cases, they've been seen right to the end, where there is satisfactory justice.
You know, that's the biggest challenge that we have in the system. That before we hire you, we don't even know whether you are an abuser or not. Because the abusers, they are not written on their foreheads that they are abusers. And they are usually people who are very nice to other women, talk very nicely and all that. But then when they are with their intimate partners, the whole thing changes. So it's difficult. So if a person goes to the police station and you don't get joy, so you can go to the civilian secretariat for police to complain about that and say that I went to this police station and I did not get any assistance. But with Domestic Violence Act, the Domestic Violence Act gives people, you know, gives the victims two legal recourses that you can actually, you can go and apply for a protection order, or if the act of domestic violence constitutes a crime, you can also institute a criminal action. So the protection order, if you don't want to go to the magistrate office to apply for a protection order, the same act recognizes the fact that some of the victims have got, they are usually, you know, sometimes reluctant to take an action. Why? Is because you are my boyfriend, you are my son, you are my my grandfather, you are my father, you are my husband, you are my whatever. So I have a domestic relationship with you. So if I go out then and stand in court and all that, and some of them, it is the fear of the unknown, that when I get to the court process, I mean, what's gonna be? What are they gonna humiliate me and all those things? But I just want to say this, that the Domestic Violence Act allows such victims to apply to get the people that they trust to apply for the protection order on their behalf, because we have a provision that says that any person who has a material interest in the well-being of the victim can actually go and apply for a protection order on behalf of the victims. And all that the victim has to do is to just take a piece of paper, scribble there and say that it doesn't matter the language, that I'm asking so-and-so to go and apply for a protection order, you know, on my behalf. And it will be done. And Yena will not even feature a court and all that. That will be done on her behalf, as we're talking now in the Women's Month, you know, talking about Omama. So that's how now I'm referring to the victim as a female.
All right. Thank you. That's the voice here, Advocate Praise Kambula. She's the head of promotion of rights of vulnerable groups with the Department of Justice and Constitutional Development. Let's take some few callers, Advocate. We are joined now by Zakele. Zakele is coming from Kanyamazan.
We are joined now by Zakele.
Zakele, man.
Yes.
Uzongibulalisa indlebe, man, Zakele.
So,
how are you doing?
I'm doing well.
Ngiyaphila, baba. Welcome to the show.
Welcome. Ukhulumela Zakele ulalike Kanyamazan community station.
Great, Zaki.
Right. Into lensifuna kuyathi ukuthi lo mthetho lo landzelwako uma utholakale ucommittee i-Femicide ukuthi unjani, ngoba kwangathi uchubeka kakhulu because abantu labaningi baya i-committee i-Femicide. Ngathi lo mthetho awukagcini kahle for discipline, even lebantu lababuya khona ku-discipline ukuthi lo muntu ucommittee i-Femicide. Ngathi kuphindabile ku-same thing. So what is lo mthetho unjani, khona kufanele ba-upgrade khona or kuhamba kanjani?
All right. Thanks, Zaki. Is that all, Bob?
is at all so far.
All right. Thank you so very much. And I believe you're listening to Kasi FM in Nelspruit. All right. Anyway, Advocate Zakele is raising a very important point. The strength of our constitution and the law in terms of dealing with these things. It seems like even if we do have this constitution that takes care of all these different avenues and issues and matters relating to femicide, we still have people committing it and still getting... Why?
Hey, it's a number of reasons. But first, let me just start by responding to your question here.
Mararanka, we're coming back to you. Let's just get Advocate to listen to speak to this one.
Do we need to improve umthetho wethu, ne? So that we will address the issue of the femicide. I want to say to Zakele that if femicide is murder, and our Criminal Procedure Act, it refers it to it as murder. That is any killing of a person, irrespective of his gender, irrespective of his sex, that amounts, that unlawful act amounts to a crime of murder. That's how it is treated by our courts. But now coming to Indobana, what is missing? What is wrong? We understand that we were once criticized by United Nations to say that South Africa, you are putting beautiful pieces of legislation. Your legislation is globally competitive, but then we are seeing that there is one area that you are missing, which is the implementation of your legislation. Yes. So now, remember, the president announced on the 9th of August that he's going to have a summit. So that summit then is looking at that, is looking as to what is wrong with us here in South Africa. Why are we not succeeding to implement our pieces of legislation in a way that's going to be impactful? Yes. That is... in a way that will make a difference, so that people will see that, you know what, there is indeed law. We are living that law. So we on the 31st, then the president is going to have that summit with the civil society and a number of people looking into that as to how do we then bridge the gap between our law and action. How do we make then our law to be real, something that everybody will see, and we, you know, women now, to make it easy for mama, bebusuku and all of that. But I also want to say that it is not only South Africa that is struggling with, you know, with that. It's a number of countries in the area of GBV, and the reason for that is that it is gender-based violence. Always. I mean, most of the time it occurs behind closed doors, and victims do not want to come to the system, and we cannot prosecute any case without evidence. And that evidence is actually the victim.
Yes. It reminds me of a story in our street. There is a house that's standing alone there for almost like 10 years. The couple, the guy went drinking, came back, and he started chopping the partner. And as you hear the story properly, the next doors could hear the screamings. And
I assume they did nothing.
Guess what? They just stayed. So I'm coming into a point of, after we speak to Mararanka, I would like us to speak to what can men do? What can the society do? Besides, we do have the constitution and everything, but we are the constitution.
Exactly.
How do we implement it from our side without us being advocates, without us being attorneys, without us having to... What do we do in our
as a citizen?
So we'll talk about that, because I'm making that example because it still stays with me all the time to say, how do you take an axe and chop somebody while they're screaming?
And he's screaming and you do absolutely nothing as a neighbor.
Yeah. They only came back the next morning. because they could hear, and then there was silence, and they had to break in the door only in the morning.
Oh.
Yeah. So, but anyway, Mararanka from Uppington. Awiti Mararanka.
Hello, sir.
Leka emre.
Reteng le kae morena?
Ke rona ba.
Le rona re gone.
A re utlwe malo.
Am I on air?
You are very much on air. That's why you're speaking to me.
Okay. I just want to know what plans the government has in place in order to minimize these killings of women, and what the government is doing to protect the women, like creating penalties that will teach the perpetrators a lesson to respect human lives.
All right. Maybe if I can, before you go, Mararanka, if I can ask you as well, as a man, what have you been doing, or what do you think you can do? As I'm saying that there's pieces of legislation everywhere and all that stuff. But on the ground, Mararanka na mosterating sesirileng ko Uppington. And basically you've seen maybe probably one of the guys clapping a girlfriend or something like that. What do you think us as men could contribute towards stopping this before it goes into the law?
But unfortunately, I never see any one of them doing such things.
Then Uppington is very peaceful.
Wow.
But I'm not saying it's not happening in Uppington, but it never happened in front of my eyes.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. No, thank you so much. Advocate is going to respond to your question, right?
Yes.
Thank you very much.
All right. Before you respond, Advocate, let's take Patko. Patko, are you speaking Afrikaans, Xhosa, or Setswana today? Laat ons praat, tata. One very good South African who's very multilingual. Welcome, Patko.
Is it?
Very, very multilingual. Yeah. Yes, it's been a long time indeed.
Crime prevention community radio always re bua ka mabapi le dintho tse di boyang ka jeno ya pele e batla o ibotsa o ka e qala nifuna ukuyiqonda mina
okay
uba ngabe uyacaphela ke ile nto ufuna ukuthi exesheni eliningi abantu abangomama sebephetha bebulawa ngabantu abavana nabo umama uyahamba uye police station ngokuqala uyoreporta ayefika pha ukumana ukuthi ngomama abaphayana bazomnikeza enye iattitude ufumana ukuthi une stress aphethe ke ngoku sele ke engancedeki lo muntu lona ebefuna umbulala uyamleqa and then xa emleqa ungena police station ancathame lo muntu xa ephume police station akancedakalanga mos ne asengancedakalanga and then adibane nalo muntu ambulale ingaba ke ngoku yeyiphi role kumele ukuthi iqinisekiswe okanye kumele ukuthi idlaliwe ngumthetho kubeni ukuba noba ukhona ungavani kwabo omama apho bangavani khona ezitrateni njalo njalo but makethi ke police station funeka sifumane that assistance enye yezinto yenzekileyo today alvan leyo yokuqala leyo eyesibini into ndifuna ukuqonda kukho abantu ufumana ukuthi that stone ekumention something which is important ufumana ukuthi well nansi into uyayibona iyenzeka kuye xa kufika abantu bomthetho befuna that concrete information lo muntu lona uzosala ukuthi andifuni ukungena mina andifuni ukwenza nix bendikhona kodwa andikwazi unikeza ngeinformation and then immediately unikeza ngeinformation ngizoba i-victim because uphatko uyayazi ukuthi ngimndedwa ombonileyo seshikweni ebesenza lo mkhubo wokubulala okanye rape lo muntu waze wambulala and then eyokugqibela especially kwi-DV kunabantu ufumana ukuthi well bakule relationship yabo and then bayalwa each and every time and then baphinde baxolelane and then the following day or 2 days down the line and then ufumane ukuthi lo muntu lona uyaya kwakhona uthi no ngiyodropa i-case. Ingaba kwicala lenu mama uNkambule zeziphi challenges enijongene nazo as i-NPA since utate uJose ebeke wayithetha naye i-part and parcel detective esithi funisa abantu apha eTakalani Radio ukuba banalo challenge kwicala labo sebefumene yonke information and then xa kumele ngokuye court umuntu uyafika ukuthi no i-case ngiyayichitha mna ngoku.
Thank you so very much. A very mouthful, Advocate by Patco.
Can I start ngalena withdrawal?
Please, ma'am.
You know, I just want to say to Pula that awunalo wena ungu victim ilungelo loku withdraw charge. Awunalo emthethweni tu. Our Criminal Procedure Act doesn't give you the right to withdraw a charge. What people do, what people think is that it is a perception that is so wrong, that is in our communities, that you as a victim, you can actually withdraw the charge.
Yes.
But I'm saying to you now, if you are a victim, that your response should be, I don't have a right to withdraw the charge, because the only person who can withdraw the charge is a prosecutor.
Yes. And
a prosecutor then needs to get into your statement as a withdrawer to look for the risk factors, whether azikona izinto ezizokwenza into bana after is it a withdrawal ye convenience, is it a withdrawal because you have been coerced to do that. So it's a number of things.
Yes.
So but people need to know that as an individual, I don't have a right to withdraw the charge, because as you see, mos state versus so and so.
That's
meaning
right.
that is state esimangalele lo mntu, when you are just the instrument with which the crime was committed or against whom the crime was committed. So that is that. Now I was talking about the issue of the lack of cooperation, that you will find that now if victims, when they come to a court, they don't want to assist. Really, it is all those things that I spoke about, that they are so scared. Is further retaliation. If I go to court, then this is what is going to happen to me, and all of that. So the issue of gender-based violence, we cannot beat it using a piece of legislation. We cannot beat it being government alone. But we can make a difference if we unite with the communities. We unite with the family members, because you'll find that it is the family members zona ezingenelelayo zingafuni zithi hamba linyala lantoni ehamba mawucima lento zayo koba khomntu apha kule family oma emaplangeni. That is meaning that to go to court, you know, it's all of us who are actually doing that. And gender-based violence iqala apha ekhaya, iqala apha ekhaya kwindlela thina esikhulisa ngayo abantwana bethu, indlela esiphatha ngabo thina omama, and all of that. So our children learning from us and doing a lot of those things.
Ukuthi uyaphi ecourt uzosifakela amehlo abantu as a family.
Exactly. Uzawumosha igama lethu kule family, and how can you do that because ungumanchi, you understand?
Yes.
How can you do that? We MP, that is member of parliament,
yes.
Ungu minister, exactly. So it is that thing that is making us then not to find our significant breakthrough in the area of gender-based violence.
All right. 0800 142 446 0800 142 446. It's a toll-free number. Tonight we are raising awareness on femicide. We are unpacking the various types of femicide in South Africa. We are also highlighting the negative effect of intimate femicide.
Yes.
We are also highlighting various efforts by the department to combat this scourge that has gone into. Is our society angry, advocate when it comes to that? Is it one of those things that actually influences femicide?
Actually, what I can say is that into a femicide is it's the cause. Yeah, femicide cannot be separated from the social ills that we have.
True.
Ne?
True.
As I have mentioned first, is that you find that the decline in the employment rate, it really affects people. And we don't have programs that help people to deal with when you are fired. What is it that you need to do? How do you deal with your emotions? Yes. We don't have that. And then secondly, the issue of poverty as well. Because some of the women, remember that I said femicide, it is the killing of a female person.
Yes.
So some of women are killed as they are walking on the street by strangers, and it is because that they want to rob and all of that leads to femicide. So femicide goes beyond domestic relationships.
Indeed,
and
true.
That it is then crime, you cannot delink crime from the issue of poverty. You see, so we also have then the issue of dysfunctional families in our country, and you find that these families, they do not have it's because of the solo parenting, where you find that it is a family that is female headed, and because the fathers are not there, or you might find that there is a father at home but is abusive father, and that brings that anger. La mntana konkakhulu ngumntana violent,
Yes.
abe violent ke na kwi-intimate relationships, or abe violent yena ngokunokwakhe. Doesn't matter in what
He finds it quite
relationship.
normal
Yes,
to be like that.
mntana onodlame.
Sure, man.
Then you have then also fathers who male parents,
Yes.
ne, who do not know their role as parents because they grew up without parents themselves. So then they don't know how to parent their children. So then that makes that child to live in a family situation where both parents are there, but then there is an absenteeism in the role of the male parent. So it is all those things, and also the fact of the male dominance that you will find in a family, where then the girl child will be treated differently from the boy child. The boy child will be treated in a manner that says that you have your male dominance over your sister, and they will find that there are role classifications, that a girl should wash dishes, a boy should watch TV, and all those things. So it is the way that we are raising our children that makes them then to have that attitude. There is this as a man, then I'm having the power over the girl child. So it's all of those issues put
Coming
together.
to think of it, the last hero on TV that I saw that was quite very significant, who was a woman, was Shira. And after that, I don't know anybody else. And I'm sure anybody in my age will basically know what I'm saying. Because as you're saying that, because many of our heroes are male who are violently correcting villains.
And another thing, yes, that I can say,
yeah,
that I can say to you, men do not know when, the issue of patriarchy. So people will say, if I can ask you right now, that do you believe in patriarchy? Are you actually exercising that? Your answer would probably be no.
Yes.
But then when you get home, what you do is actually amounting to patriarchy. But you are distancing yourself from patriarchy. Why? It's because you don't know what patriarchy means.
Exactly.
You were never schooled on patriarchy. So it is all those issues that make then, to have men abusing women, because some of them do not classify their conduct as abuse.
Exactly. Justification of all those things.
They justify
so many
and
ways.
come up with cultural, this is my culture. My culture says that when you bring me food, you must kneel on the floor as a woman, and you are the one who should be cooking, and all those things. Yeah, and it's all those things put together that lead.
Well, I'm putting it out there to you when I'm laleli mureti mutele chihore. Beyond talking, what is your church doing about this? What is your traditional establishment doing about this? What is your youth club doing about this?
Exactly.
Because in many cases, we stand in pedestals, we're standing in podiums, we talk and talk and talk. But here we are. We want to blame government for all the laws that have been put in place for you to be able to exercise them. Because, like I say, we are the law. We are the Constitution.
Exactly.
But once things start happening to us, we start shifting the blame towards government, which
we
is,
do that.
In many cases, the offices. We want to put a blame in an office in Pretoria, an office in Mafikeng, an office in Aliwal North. But we do not talk to our priests. We do not talk to Inkokelize, in the communities, to say, when are we doing something on our own in this community to say, when somebody does this, we make sure that we follow the case to the end, and this person needs
community participation.
Exactly. That's where we go.
Wenza ntoni wena mhlali?
Yes.
Wenza ntoni wena ungumzali?
All right, 0800-142-446. We left with about 8 minutes. Let me welcome Umam Mhlongwane to the program. Mam Mhlongwane. Hello, Ma.
Hello.
Mam Mhlongwane.
Ibo.
Ninjani, Ma.
Philile ninjani.
Siyaphila. Welcome to the program. I'm with the Adv Praise Kambula. You can speak to her.
Okay.
You want to talk about something, Ma?
Yes.
Please. The stage is yours.
Okay. Sengakhuluma.
Ungakhuluma, Ma.
Ngilayini njengamanje.
Yeah, you are on air right now.
Okay. Njengoba ngishilo nguhlongwane.
Okay, Mam Mhlongwane.
Yeah. There is this problem esinayo siyama communities in a form of a society. Ngiyayizwa i-topic ngimamela inqubeko njengamanje.
All right.
And then now the thing is, i-problem ukuthi njengoba kuyakuthiwa izinto ziyenzeka mawubone kwenzeka nayi i-crime yenzeka laphana besithi nayi i-act abuse yenzeka on my neighbor. And then mina as a responsible neighbor, I must do something. And then there is this problem ukuthi should I interfere? Maybe mangifuna ukuthi ngiyosort out or ngiyokwenza ukuthi iphele le violence engibona yenzeka laphayana. And at the end of the day, I know ukuthi ngagcina ngilemala. But if I call police and just come and sort this problem out because this is happening right now, then only find out ukuthi police uwafonele avume athathe yonke into athi siyeza nje ngamanje ungafiki umuntu iyaqhubeka isini laphayana ulimalayo laphana kula violence yenzakalayo. And when uyabukela uyafa ngaphakathi enhliziyweni ukuthi what can I do, because I cannot just pop into that house because I might be in jeopardy myself. And then the thing is, senzenjani mangabe sizothi sizosebenza siyi-community kodwa amaphoyisa angabambani nathi? Kuloko ngingaphenduleka kanjani because amaphoyisa ngempela awasibhekeleli esikhathini sokuthi ngithi nayi ingxaki bathi abanawo amaveni
Oh.
mhlawumbe udrive uye khona ufica amaveni apakile kodwa akekho umuntu waresponda kule nto wena wayifaka. It's a very
Kuyazwakala mamhlongwana, kuyazwakala impela, because sometimes bazothi wena othanda indaba zabantu.
that's the thing. That's the thing.
Okay.
Mhlawumbe igcine sekusala mina ngisale phakathi kade ngithi ngiyasotha akuyithi ngiyasolve iproblem engiyibonayo ngifike sengisala phakathi ngiba umuntu omubi. Yeah, sibhekene nengwadla sibhekene nesimo sesima kakhulu emhlabeni.
It's a very big one indeed. It's a very...
Konzima.
Mamhlongwane siyabonga impela, and then sibonga nenqubeko community radio in Ladysmith eMnambithi, siyabonga.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Angibonge kakhulu nami.
Nathi siyabonga.
Khona zokufaka. Yeah, thanks.
All right, thank you. Advocate?
Hey, inzima yazi into yamapolisa. And I'm just thinking that as umama ethetha into bana yazi kufuneka ke sibe ne program apho ke siwakha invite amapolisa abe khona azokwazi ukuthi aphendule kwezi zinto. But what I can say is that umama makathi kuba uye waya akafumana uncedo or wafona make sisebenziseni le civilian secretariat of yamapolisa, which is looking into all those things where there is non-performance or a poor attitude and all of that. It is a secretariat that the police have established to deal with specifically with these things. So we really need to utilize it.
And if I may add as well, is that make a piece of paper, make it a mantra in your house. 10-111. You know what that number is? 10-111 is a call center for police. Let's get used to using this number. In any house, just like you putting all your pictures on the wall, let it be framed somewhere and you put it over there. 10-111. Let even the young kid knows when there's anything, call 10-111.
And report to the police. And if they don't respond, but report away not to the civilian secretariat for police.
We will talk about, let's just take quickly the last caller, Anonymous, but we will talk about, because what Mam Hlongwane was alluding to is that there are some loopholes in the governing system. It might not be that of the Department of Justice, but policing on this other side, low morale, wages, and all these different things that are actually overwhelming our communities to do the job to the best of their abilities. But we will speak about that in the last end so that we get to say, where are we going, including active citizen participation.
Yeah, exactly. In community forums, that should be established, you know, to ensure that in our street here,
thank you. I really, the way you've put it, we need to be in that mode. Anyway, Anonymous. The way you've put it. Yeah, Anonymous decided to just...
Hello?
Hello, Anonymous. Retele ma. Hey, advocate to Ronamu.
Oh, if I forget about how right withdraw case, even the person or being like the victim.
Yes.
That 2007, I was sexually assaulted by a boyfriend, and I laid charges. I think someone was 3 times with the court, and I went. But because I could really the process, court system, I stayed there, how we to come up or something there. And everything was going on without me. I got these 3 times.
Yes.
3 times I went there. I got these nothing. They kept postponing until 2018. I think about March. But I postponed to August, and I thought really it was from March to August came to KCA, and that was the 3rd time gear. August, I think it was the 4th time, so I stopped going. I let it go. So I guess really what happened after that, because because I was never contacted after August.
I need to explain this. No?
Yeah, okay. Go on, Anonymous, and stay on the line once you're done so that you can speak directly with Advocate, right?
Oh, okay.
Okay.
And then fast forward to 2 years ago, my partner assaulted me, and he was making death threats and stuff. So I phoned the police on him. But well, firstly, it was a Monday. Firstly, I phoned in the call center, 10-111, sorry. My partner and I just fought, and he assaulted me. But on a Monday, and I said, yeah, it's a specific day of the week, more Lincoln calls that the assault.
Wow.
And then, fine, the police came, Harvard, basically, Yaba meeting. And, I mean, if Nikibata meeting, I would have called the parents.
Yes.
Nikibata, something to be done about him. And nothing was done. Yaba meeting, what discussed, as if they're counselors, I don't know, who were trained for counselor. Exactly. So, yeah, we talked about it. And then, Azamaya. And that was it.
So, yeah.
Okay.
You sound quite very frustrated by the system and the process, also Anonymous.
I am.
Ne?
I am.
Yeah, but stay on the line, speak to Advocate, and let's see how we can do this.
I would like to get here details,
yeah,
so that we are able to help. Fine, this is an NPA a case, but I can actually assist her. But also to say to the listeners, xa i-case ye-rape okanye sexual offense, it depends by, but if it's kubekho i-sexual penetration and is a case ye-rape, then okokuqala kukho le court ye-first instance ekuthiwa yi-district court, apho khona izawuqala ibe khona la case phana iya abetshutshisi bancedisa amapolisa to investigate. Then as soon as the case is trial ready, then it is moved then to the regional court. Yes. Because the regional court look any jurisdiction to preside over this case. And then when it get to the regional court, then it's given a new case number and also the new date of trial that then you should be coming on this date. So a case here rape, as she was talking, I thought that this must be a case here rape.
Yes, it's
true. So yena uzawufumana xa isele ingene is a regional court, then uzawufumana a date where the investigator will be calling her to go. So it's one process that I think that we need in our courts to clearly explain, but I need to check here indoba kwenzeke ntoni na kule case, because abetshutshisi now asifuni into yobana mabawithdrawe amatyala e-rape.
Malmelinda, I believe you do have Anonymous
unless there is
contact
no
number.
Enough evidence.
Yes.
Unless there is no enough evidence. But if there it is, because it's rape in South Africa is one of the serious offenses.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
But now, one of the things quickly that I want to highlight is the frustration with the long and slow processes.
The reason that makes a case rape itate isikhathi, it's investigation. And la investigation is kuyo kakhulu is the DNA evidence, because it has to be taken to a lab and all of that, then be analyzed and then get then the results, and then it's taken then to court. Then it's one of the things. I'm not saying that it's the only.
Of course, yes.
It's one of the things is that DNA analysis, which is very critical, especially then when the sexual penetration was done without protection, without a condom and all that. So it's those things and the collection of the evidence that needs to be.
All right. Advocate, I think we've done our job today. And thank you so very much.
Okay.
We shall continue this next week. And I wish we could even actually break it down even more into our communities and actually get more contribution towards various different types of societies
and
we have.
asiyenzanga into banotata funeke bethini nabona.
Indeed. Maybe quickly, let me steal 2 minutes. Let me just steal 2 minutes of your time again to say, what role do we play as the society? Because for me, this whole thing of separating male and put them that side and say, Nina nizwenza kanje, Nina bo mama nizwenza kanje, Nina bo auntie nizwenza kanje, Nina bo mkhulu, hlalani khona lapho. You know, how do we integrate this support and push this thing together?
I mean, men need to be involved in the issues of violence. And I can just say that one thing is that they need to learn. Because not every man knows what patriarchy is. Not every man knows that what you are doing is actually amounting to an abuse. And so we need to create some dialogues with men and ensure that they begin to talk amongst each other. And secondly, they need to learn, they must not be quiet when you hear another man objectifying women and saying things that are not right. And don't be quiet as a man when you see another man is telling you that this is what I do in my house. Don't be quiet when there is an abuse that is going on in your midst. So you need to take an action. And how you can take an action is by you becoming involved in the GBV agenda. And also, you need to learn how to parent.
Yes.
Because some of the children who are now abusers today is because they lacked the hand of the father. And I can also mention that you also need to respect your woman, so that your children can learn that this is how a woman is treated. And all of those things, I think that they can contribute to men, you know, having families that are functional.
Yes. Active participation, that's what we're talking about.
Yes, don't be quiet as a man, because men keep away from this, and they need then to ensure. And they talk about rugby and sports and all that. How about then where you meet, you talk about gender-based violence?
When there's an issue, I go to the bar, watch the sports.
And
with the
one
guys,
is gonna say that, how do I learn? You get to internet, there's a lot of information on gender-based violence. You can also, because we even break the Domestic Violence Act into small pieces to let people, to know about it. What is it that I need to do when this happens and all that? And watch also yourself. What is important is for you to have that introspection and check, am I actually contributing to this? So men needs to do that. And also, don't have sex with your woman when a woman says no.
Most definitely.
Exactly, because that amounts to rape.
We do not own, no matter how much lobola you've paid. You cannot
Exactly.
own. It doesn't give you ownership rights.
Entitlement.
What do they call it? Copyright or something.
Exactly.
Yeah, you have no entitlement.
Because there are so many abusers that are not reported.
Yeah.
Men who are raping their spouses, they are raping their women, and the woman will keep quiet. But she said to you that I have a headache. That headache means that I don't want to have it today. I'm not feeling right. All those things. Respect that, because women define no in different ways.
Yes.
Some of them do not say N-O, no. They will say no in different way. So we need that, just to respect that and be sensitized. Yeah, don't force yourself into your woman.
And my 2 cents will be to say, Bontate, ukshela is not ukshasha. It is actually to ask for utando.
Exactly.
So remember where you come from. You did ask this lady, and no lady wafo. You didn't trick her into agreeing to be in love with, because in many cases, advocate, as we grow up, but
was not giving you permission.
The attitude being that I think that is also one of the roots of where we come from, Uguti. Belittling her IQ of saying,
Ooh.
I lo mangam shasha uzomfuma. So please, guys, let it be that ukshela aksuk shashaya. It's
exactly.
not to trick a lady into a relationship. It's actually asking.
Let's respect our women.
So start from there, and then you'll see how things go. Advocate Praise Kambula, thank you so very much for having this discussion with us. I wish this is not only just a talk, and this is not just to listen to what we're saying. And let me apologize to all the other callers, actually. Tsepo, Franz, Achuma, Sebastian, Virginia, and all the other callers. We do recognize you, but it's just that we only have 1 hour. And in most cases, we would really like to extend these discussions to you. But time is time. We can't do anything about it.
Yes, thank you so much.
All right. Thank you so very much. Enkosi kakhulu, siyabulela, siyabonga, ra leboga. Good night and see you next week.